Hey guys, today we're going to be showing you how to convert a bin into a vertical or horizontal modern looking cage. The tools you're going to need for this project are a carpenter's square or a metal ruler. This is optional but highly recommended. A tape measure, an exacto knife, drill bits, a rivet gun, optional depending on how you decide to attach your hinges, a sanding block to sand down the edges for finishing touches, a torch if you would like the edges of the acrylic door to look polished, and a very small amount of Weldon 2007. The material you will need is your bin of choice. I chose to make this out of a 6-quart Sterilite bin as an example. This method can be used for any bin though. You're going to need screen as well. This is for ventilation. You can use either a round vent as shown here or just screening material which would need to be hot glued on. Screws, window screen clips, rivets if you're going to be riveting your hinges, a lock or a pull tab, 1/4 inch cintra, and finally 1/4 inch acrylic. The thickness of the cintra and the acrylic don't really matter, however we find it more sturdy if you use the 1/4 inch. Start by measuring your bin and determining the size of the PVC you will need. For this particular bin, our piece is 8 1/4 inches wide by 14 inches long. Once you have your measurements, mark your piece and cut it out. For the PVC and the acrylic, I purchased them from a local plastic supplier as offcuts. As such, the total cost of material was only $5, and if you include the hardware, it was only $8 to make. Cintra is very easy to work with and easily cut with an exacto knife. Use a straight edge like the one on this carpenter square as a guide. If you have access to power tools, it would end up looking a lot better in the end if you were able to use a table saw. Acrylic is a little trickier to work with, but can still be cut using an exacto knife. Start by confirming the size you need and mark your piece. When cutting acrylic, you need to make 9 to 10 scores on the top of it with your knife, and then take it to a straight edge, like the one on the side of your working table, and just give it a couple swift hits. The acrylic will snap right on the line you made with your scores. If you're working with a smaller piece of acrylic, you will need to clamp it down first and use pliers to snap it. Once you've cut your acrylic, align it on your PVC and mark it out. Then take your straight edge once more and cut out the area you just marked out. Be sure to take your time when cutting. If you rush, you will snap your piece. Now that everything is cut out, it's time to add your hinges. Start with your acrylic door, because if you do it the other way around, it will be harder to align the door later. Once you've marked your piece as to where you need to drill your holes for your hinges, take your time and use your drill on its lowest settings possible. Acrylic can crack if you twist it while drilling, drill too fast, or if you put too much pressure, so take your time. Now it's time to attach your hinges. I like to rivet hinges on because you'll never have to worry about the nuts and bolts coming loose, but you can use either or to attach them. Follow the same steps when marking your piece, drilling it and riveting, or bolting your hinges in place with the frame. Now we're almost done. Take your bin, align it on the new door, and screw in all 4 corners as well as the centers of each side. When drilling, have your screws enter on an angle if your screws are longer than the material's thickness to prevent it from penetrating the face. I pre-drilled my bin with a 2-inch hole saw to allow for easy installation of the round vent. You can burn holes, you can drill holes, you can glue screen on, or use a vent like this one. Just make sure your new terrarium has enough ventilation for what you will be housing in it. Here's a step that is completely optional, however I do recommend it. I cut a small piece of scrap PVC and glue it in on the frame. This allows the door to stay in place and not pop in while using it. The final step in making this conversion is to drill in your twist tabs. Regardless of if you are using a lock or not, twist tabs will be needed to ensure there isn't too much play in the door, which could result in an escapee. Adjust your tabs so that they are stiff but do not flop around, and you're done. If you decide to add a lock, all you need to do is drill out a hole for the lock on your door and align it with the inner tab you installed. If you decide to install a lock, the tab that I indicated was optional before is mandatory. The lock will need somewhere to grab. And there you have it, an inexpensive, rather simple way to convert your boring looking bin into a modern looking terrarium. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, drop a like down below and leave any comments if you have any questions. Don't forget to subscribe for future content. Thanks!